Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. I know I am very late to the party on this one, but yeah, whatever. I'm gonna release these as I can and not really according to the hype or anything like that. So, this is my first impressions of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. I remember being really excited for this one when I saw it. It's just great to see a game like this. I love pixel graphic games, and I'm a really big fan of beat 'em ups. So, kind of seeing something like this getting released nowadays, yeah, it kind of pulled on some nostalgic memories for me. So I was pretty excited. I got this one as soon as I could, and I would have started playing earlier if some other stuff hadn't gotten in the way. This opening cinematic is great, by the way. It reminds me of the cartoon show from the 80s and early 90s. It's just really great. So let's kind of move into the first thing I want to talk about, and that is the cutscenes. I started with the story mode first, and there are a couple of cutscenes in here. You have this opening one, which sort of goes through the story or the story that you're going to be playing through. And I think it's really well done. I just like how it's kind of minimalistic, but still pretty advanced for a game like this. And it does kind of remind me of the beat 'em up a little bit, where you just sort of have still images and not a whole lot of animation going on, maybe just like a couple of frames here or there. That's sort of what these cutscenes feel like, where they're there to just kind of keep the plot moving. They're just there to keep the plot moving in between those wonderful spots where you're just running around beating the crap out of robots. And this is one of those times where you don't really need a story, to be perfectly honest, or at least you don't need to know the story. You just know that there are some bad guys, you need to beat them up, and you're usually playing as a turtle, or as Splinter, or as, April O'Neil. I haven't tried out April yet, but I'm kind of excited about that. So I'll get this out of the way really quick. The animations are great. I just love how fluid they are. It still feels like a retro game. The sprites look really good. They're pretty well detailed when they need to be. Foot soldiers don't really need to be all that detailed, but seeing them blow up and all the other stuff that happens with them, it's pretty great. The sprites for Bebop, Rocksteady are really awesome, and Shredder as well is really great. It's just a wonderful looking game. So with all that out of the way, let's talk about how it plays. Oh man, I had a lot of fun with this. It really was just a joy to play. It's not the best beat 'em up I've ever played, but it was still a lot of fun. It's a very competent beat 'em up, so it makes it more fun than, when a beat 'em up is crap. You're going to be doing a lot of the same thing, just kind of mashing the attack button to get through some stuff. But there are times where you kind of need to use some of the special moves that they allow for. All of the moves are really easy to actually perform and everything. I didn't have any real issues with it, except when I played on the Switch version and I was using the analog stick instead of a D-pad, because Nintendo wanted to be fancy and not have a D-pad. On the Xbox, it was really easy because I was just using the D-pad to move around, and it kind of felt like I had a bit more control. I just like a D-pad a lot more than the analog stick for games like this. It just sort of feels easier to move around with those. I do want to mention that there is some variety with the different enemies. You can kind of tell what the foot soldiers are going to do based on their color. After you've encountered them the first time, you'll have an idea of what they're trying to do and that sort of thing. And you also do run into the mousers as well, and I don't know, those feel a lot easier than they did in the arcade game that Konami put out. It could just be me remembering it wrong or comparing it to the NES port, but it felt a little bit easier to kill them here. The boss fights that I've gotten him so far have been fairly easy. Bebop and Rocksteady are just kind of the way to get you introduced to it, so you're not really looking for anything super challenging. I was having some problems with Raphael here, just because he's got a short range weapon, and I had originally started off with Leonardo when I was playing on the Switch, and that one was a lot easier to play as, which kind of made me a little bit annoyed, because Raphael's my favorite character, and they kind of give him a somewhat crappy weapon, or at least a short range weapon, which I don't really like that much. But when it's your favorite character, you just kind of deal with it. But yeah, I've tried out Leonardo and Raphael so far. I'm gonna give Michelangelo, Donatello, and the other characters a shot. So far, I'm really liking the way the game plays. Each character does have their own stats, or at least the game says that they have their own stats. It makes the game feel a little bit different. It's nice to play through stuff like that. On this boss here with Bebop and Rocksteady running in a car, this one I just found really annoying. And I'm pretty sure it was all my fault, just not doing it right. But this boss fight I just found incredibly annoying. So I do kind of like Shredder's Revenge a little bit more than Streets of Rage 4. That's probably just me enjoying the different Ninja Turtle games and that sort of thing a little bit more than Streets of Rage. I have more memories playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I didn't get into Streets of Rage until high school, so it's not really a critique on the gameplay or anything like that. It's just I prefer one series to the other. But I do think that Shredder's Revenge is a very good game. If you're into beat-em-ups, it's a really well-made game. It looks great. The controls are pretty good. I kind of like the Xbox version more than the Switch, though. Anyway, that's going to wrap things up. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and have a great day, everybody. Bye.